Hi everyone, this is vlog number 16, I believe, and I'm titling it The Invisible Box. First off, I want to just say that there is something in my throat, and it's been there for months, so off and on. So if I start coughing, please forgive me. I don't mean to. But I said that I would do a vlog tonight called The Invisible Box. And I did this speech in Toastmasters a few months ago, or several months ago now. And I think it's an important message. Sometimes society forgets, and it happens with more than just people with disabilities. It happens with the elderly. It happens in all kinds of group dynamics and ethnicities and races, I think, and specifically categories of people, whether it be disabilities, race, elderly, age. Well, elderly is age, but single people, married couples, we all get put in boxes, every single one of us. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that society wants to stick us in a box and develop a script or a script for how a certain group of people should act or behave. So let's take let's take people with disabilities. Oftentimes, people with disabilities, at least for me and the people that I know, most of the people with disabilities that I know, I have a lot of friends who are in chairs, and very often we get, or at least I don't know about if my friends get this a lot anymore, but I used to get, how old is she? What does she like to do? Can she eat? Can she use the restroom? And my parents, as well as many of my friends back in my younger days, got so many of those questions and got so annoyed by them that my parents' response was I don't know, ask her. And this wasn't to be mean or rude, but they wanted people to think. They wanted people to think about what they were asking, and more importantly, what they were implying. They were implying that because I'm in a chair, I'm deaf, I'm blind. I can't understand, whatever. I remember when I got, so some of you know this, some of you don't, but back, I think I was in eighth grade, I had this opportunity to go to the Canine Companions for Independence facility when I was in 8th grade and get a canine companion and get a canine companion dog and go to a 2-week training, and eventually I came home with a dog. A lot of you know that already, but some of you don't. And when I got back from my training, or from our training, my mom, my dad, and myself went, so my whole family went. And when I got back from my training, I would take Ahi out in public. That was the name of my dog. I would take him out in public, and people would automatically think, because he had a vest on, that I was blind or that I was deaf. They wouldn't read the actual vest on on Ahi himself. They wouldn't read what it said, because every dog, has its own vest for what they are. If they help somebody who's deaf, that vest has a different color. If they help somebody who's blind, that vest usually has a different color. If they help somebody who has seizures, that vest usually has a different vibe to it. So, but they didn't take the time to investigate and put the clues together and figure out that I'm not deaf. I don't have a seizure disorder, thank God. But they didn't take the time to find that out. They didn't take the time to put the clues together and find that out. They just assumed that I was deaf or blind or whatever else they assumed. They didn't put the facts together to find out what is the truth behind her getting the dog. So a lot of times they put because people don't find out the truth about people with disabilities or people with, people who are elderly or people who, attach whatever you want to it, race, ethnicity, whatever. If you don't find out the truth, you're automatically putting somebody into a category that may or may not connect with them. So I guess my message to you tonight is no matter who your friends are, no matter who you know or don't know, heck, you can see a homeless guy on the street and right away you assume how he or she got there. Or let's say it's a family. You could assume how they got there. And to be honest, I've done that myself. And that's right here and right now, like, I'll just say, that's wrong. But that's how people get put into these invisible boxes. People assume that they know the backstory, the facts about people. And if you really know somebody, assumptions in some cases are, I don't want to say fine, but are acceptable. But if you don't know a person or a family, don't put them in that box. Because until you take the family or take the person out of the box, until you unwrap, I like to think of it as unwrapping a present. Either Christmas, birthday, I don't care. Just whatever you celebrate, however you get presents, I like to think of it as a present. Until you unwrap that present and get to know the person behind or inside, until you get to know the person or people inside, you don't know what their life is like. You don't know where they've been or where they want to go, and so ask questions. People think that you can't ask questions, and some people may get offended by asking you questions or by you asking them questions, and you may think a question is stupid, but I want you to know that if you come to me, and hopefully if you come to my friends, I'm thinking that they all would answer your question as long as it was appropriate. But ask us questions. Ask people questions. Whether they have a disability, whether, whatever you're wondering about, you don't want to probably do it in a crowd of people. But if you really want to get to know somebody, pull them aside, ask them questions, or something like that, and get to know them. Don't just put them in a box and assume that, well, because they have a disability or because they're, 80 or 90 years old, they don't have goals, they don't have dreams, they don't wonder like everybody else. Don't assume that you know them. Because in reality, I don't think even our deepest relationships, I don't think people can truly know a person inside and out. I have some friends who I'm really close to, and I don't know everything about them, and they don't know everything about me. But a relationship is about building. A relationship never stops. It keeps going. And so you're always, at least in my opinion, you can always find out something new about somebody. Find out what they want out of life. Find out what makes them happy, what brings them joy. That sort of thing. One thing I would caution you is that, especially with people with disabilities, get them first on a personal level before you start asking them private, personal questions just about their disability. Find out who they are as a person. And this probably applies to everything I've previously said as far as age and race and ethnicity and everything else. Find out who, before you get to know their background and what made them who they are, get to know them as people. Before you find out what put them in a wheelchair or a power chair or how, what age they are or, why before you get really personal in your questions, build that relationship first so that a person can trust you. Build that relationship first. Find out what they like to do for fun. Ask them how many siblings are in their family. Ask them about their parents ask them general questions first before you get into the real deep questions and start building that relationship. And lastly, I just want to say what I said before. When you get to know a person, I hope that you will, instead of judging people and putting them in a category or putting them in a box, please unwrap that box and get to know the person. Because we are people. We're all people. We all have goals. We all should have goals. We all have dreams. We all have different living circumstances. So get to know us as people before you feel like you have to put us in a box and say, well, he or she can't do that because of this or that or something else. Before you put us in a box, please unwrap us. Please unwrap us and get to know us as people. And with that, I hope you all have a wonderful night. And I thank you for listening. I hope I didn't offend anybody. If I did, I'm sorry. But I've just experienced this a lot, having a disability, when I was younger and even now. And so I thought it was a good subject to talk about tonight. If you have any other suggestions or questions for me, comment below, post them in the comments, and I'll be sure to read them. I probably will do a vlog next week. I'm not sure what day, and that's the other thing. Like I said, if you have a subject of a vlog that you want me to do, please comment below, because not all the time do I have these ideas planted in my brain already. So it really, really helps me and gets my brain juices flowing if you have a question or have some sort of dialogue with me that we can discuss together. And I also will be posting, I also won't be doing a vlog every week. I'll probably do one next week. But I've also been thinking, a couple weeks ago I asked people if they thought I would post articles or YouTube videos in this group also and promote discussion. So I'm gonna start doing that just to bring a little variety, and maybe from that you all will start having more and more questions. And mostly from this group, I mean, yes, this is my vlog group, and I am trying to start a speaking business, so my vlogging to you guys is helping me do that. But most of all, I want to promote conversation and discussion, because I think that is, I don't want to say a lost art, but I don't know how else to put it. I think we all have to have more discussion and more opinions and all of that stuff. Mind you, it should be healthy discussion. But anyway, that's kind of what I want this, well, not kind of, that is what I want this group to be. So I hope that throughout these next few months I can promote that as best as I can. And you guys feel free to participate at the level you want to. And I will see you all soon. I love you all. Bye.